the underground emperor of Dragon City. But I was scared to move by a look from a teenager. He even kowtowed to Chin Mo in front of everyone. Just now, after Chin Mo received the news that Bai Yuran had returned late, dressed and ran out, I asked Chin Di before I left, "Where is the underground racing track?" Looking at Chin Wei's nervous appearance, Chin Di thought for a moment and said, "I think there's a car race tonight at the Tibetan Valley Mountain." After learning the location, Chin Mo rushed out. By this time, a large number of car gangs had gathered in Tibet Ancient Mountain. A passerby asked Tai Sha with fake doubts, "How come you're racing in Zanggu Mountain Harbor? It's been a long time." The man pointed to Bai Yuran beside him. "See that chick? Tai Sha likes him." He refused to agree. "I don't know what to say about racing. If that girl can't win first place, she'll have to follow Tai Sha." But the reason why Bai Yuran wants to compete, because of the Tai family's ability to eat both black and white, and that Tai Shin has been obsessed with it. But Bai Xin did not dare to stand up, so Bai Yuran, in order to end this, that's why he did it. Bai Yuran and Tai Shin bet that if Bai Yuran wins first place, Tai Shin, no more pestering. Bai Yuran will spend the night as a baboon in the Tibetan Valley Mountain. If you don't win first place, I want to be Tai Shin's girlfriend. For Bai Yuran, Tai Shin spent a lot of money to invite Huai Province, Triple Crown Yang Yang. Seeing Yang Yang arrive, Bai Yuran immediately regretted it. Just then, Chin Mo suddenly appeared with his genie. "I heard the bet. I'll get it for you." But the crowd at the side showed sarcasm. Who said they wanted to get AD? Just because he drives that stupid genie? The worst ones here are the McLaren P1. He's driving. What's the difference between him and Alto? Yang Yang, who was on the side, laughed after listening to him. "Know who I am? How dare you say that you want to take the first place in front of me?" Chin Mo's face is blank. "Whoever you are, the first is mine." But Yang Yang is Huai's triple champion. Naturally, he did not put Chin Mo in his eyes. Tai Shin frowned when he saw this. He said to the bodyguard beside him, "Find out who this kid is." With a whistle, Zanggu Mountain car race officially begins. Bai Yuran, as an amateur, can run 30 seconds ahead of time. At this time, the bodyguard in the surveillance room handed over Chin Mo's information. "An orphan? I thought it was the new rich guy from Dragon City." "Then I'm relieved. If he wins, he'll be in trouble." At the same time, the cars of Qin Dynasty and Yang Yang are one behind the other, driving on the track. Looking at Chin Mo, who was surpassed by himself, Yang Yang made a contemptuous gesture. At this time, the end of Qin Dynasty in the car, he smiled meaningfully. "And then you hit the gas all the way down." I saw the rear of Chin Mo's car, and spewed out a flame. Everyone's staring at the screen. They're stunned. "Oh shit, Spitfire acceleration. This is definitely not autumn flying." Then Tai Shin took out his walkie-talkie, ordering Yang Yang to surpass the late Qin Dynasty. "Otherwise, you'll never make it in Dragon City again." Yang Yang, who received the order, immediately stepped on the accelerator, began to accelerate, but in the next second, the end of Qin Dynasty directly lost Yang Yang. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw Chin Mo's operation. The Triple Crown is gone. Who is this Chin Mo? The only one who can suppress Bai Yuran now is Chin Mo. Bai Yuran was very happy after seeing it. Tai Shin in the surveillance room gritted his teeth. "Asshole. Get ready, guys. Don't let them go later." But at this time, Chin's genie will exceed Bai Yuran. "Master, what are you doing? You win first, I lose." Tai Shin looked at the screen excitedly, unconsciously excited to stand up. As long as Chin Mo takes first place, he can still bet and jump together. "Chin Mo, slow down. Slow down, Bai Yuran. Jizawa, are you wrong?" Bai Yuran immediately admitted defeat after listening, crying and telling Chin Mo that I was wrong. "Master, I dare not do it again. Please, Master, slow down." Lamborghini victory in sight. Tai Shin was so excited that he almost jumped up. Suddenly, Chin Mo stepped on the brakes. Bai Yuran's Ferrari broke through the finish line first. Tai Shin, who was excited just now, turned green. He must have done it on purpose. "I want him dead." Bai Yuran jumped out of the car happily. He threw himself into Chin Mo's arms. Master was the best. Just when Chin Mo wanted to leave with Bai Yuran, a cold voice suddenly came from not far away. "Today you too, nobody's leaving." Tai Shin walked past coldly with his followers. The crowd swallowed their saliva when they saw it. I couldn't help but retreat in fear, but suddenly stood up, exclaiming excitedly, "I'm number one!" You should have kept the bet. One night in the mountains of Zanggu as a baboon. But Tai Shin sneered after hearing this. "This is my territory. Is it up to you?" Neither of you is leaving today. Chin Mo glanced coldly at me. What if I didn't listen? I'll beat you to death if you see Taishin's face exposed. Chin Mo immediately protected by Yuran behind him, and smiled at Taishin. My life is here. Let's see if you can take it. Taishin angrily pointed to Chin Mo, and killed him for me. I'll take responsibility if anything happens. I'm going straight for Chin Mo with a club in my hand. And all I heard was a few loud bangs. In just a moment, a dozen of his underlings fell at the feet of Chin Mo. No longer stand up. All the onlookers stared blankly. This guy's a monster. Only listen to Bai Yuran lying on the car window excited roar. Master is amazing. Hearing Bai Yuran's praise, Taishin was furious. He directly put the gun on Chin Mo's forehead. Are you awesome? Facing the dark muzzle. Chin Mo was not afraid at all. Shoot me. Taishin could not help but break out in cold sweat on his forehead after listening to this. He didn't want to draw his weapon if he had to. It's not what he imagined. Not only did Chin Mo not kneel and beg for mercy, encouraging him to shoot, an exasperated Taishin yanked the trigger. Chin Mo's pupils contracted when he saw this. Refuse spiritual power in the palm of your hand. He grabbed at the void with his bare hands, then slowly let go of his hand. The bullet fell from his hand to the ground. As a Foundation Establishment realm cultivator, ordinary bullets couldn't hurt Chin Mo. The minute Taishin looked at the falling bullets, he knelt on the ground weakly. Facing Chin Mo, who is approaching step by step, the arrogance of the beginning has long been lost, begging you not to come. At the end of Qin Dynasty, he grabbed Taishin's collar. I thought you said you were gonna kill me. Come on. Inside the Tai villa at this time, Tai Xingan sat on the sofa. Watch the video. The picture of Chin Mo blinking to destroy Zhang Nan. The more you look at it, the deeper your frown gets. He's too strong. Don't mess with them. You can only please. Tai Xingan made up his mind. If you have the chance, you must pay a visit to this young man. Just then, a bodyguard suddenly opened the door. Oh no, something's happened to the young master at MT Zhangdu. Tai Xingan's face instantly darkened after listening. Someone's trying to kill my son in Dragon City. At this time, in the Tibetan ancient mountain, Chin Mo sat on the roof of the Lamborghini. Taishin with a bruised nose and swollen face. Just then, in the distance, a car's headlights flashed. Illuminate the entire Tibetan mountain, Tai Xingshan said coldly as he got off the car. Kid, don't you dare touch my son? Bai Yuran couldn't help but feel nervous for Chin Mo. Because everyone knows, as Tai Xingen in Dragon City, it's easy to kill someone. Taishin saw his father coming. Get off me! Get off me! My father's here. You're dead. But Chin Mo was still sitting quietly in the car. Taishin's feet are stepping harder. Tai Xingan saw Chin Mo indifferent, flew into a rage. Then he looked at Zhang Nan and went to destroy him. Zhang Nan was emitting murderous aura. He rushed towards Chin Mo aggressively. But when they saw Chin Mo's face clearly, I was so scared that I froze on the spot. The cold sweat on his face involuntarily flowed down. It's like seeing a ghost. 1 second after another, he bowed to Chin Mo in public. Mr. Chin misunderstood just now. Please forgive me. The onlookers were shocked by this scene. President Tai, who was arrogant just now, now you're gonna behave like a servant. That's too fast. At this moment, Chin Mo's voice sounded. My son lost a bet. How to say Tai Xing on Tai Xing, and then he berated Taishin and said, You little brat, didn't you hear what Mr. Chin said? Just do it. Just like that. Tai Xingan and the others lowered their heads. Taishin was on the side imitating baboon calls, watching Chin Mo leave with Bai Yuran. Bai Yuran is especially excited tonight. She shook Chin Mo's hand excitedly. You look hot today. I admire you more and more. But before I could finish, Bai Yuran suddenly fell into Chin Mo's arms. Chin Mo touched Bai Yuran's body. I couldn't help but feel shocked. It's frightfully hypothermic, like a cold corpse. And in his head, something like an ice bead. It's not easy to deal with yet. We can only suppress him temporarily with spiritual power, Chin Mo thought to himself. It's not that I want to take advantage of you. The healing body cannot be separated by clothes. Just then, the door opened. Chin Mo was stunned. Then he said innocently, Uncle Bai. Do you believe me when I say I'm healing for Yuran? Don't take the knife. I'm telling you the truth. Uncle Bai, stop him. Until the moon wakes up. The woman stopped chasing Chin Mo. At this time, Bai Xian smiled and Mr. Chin was really sorry. We were so excited. I didn't expect you to really treat Yuran. Our family fakes death twice a month. When you wake up, you'll be cold. Listen to Bai Xian. Qin Mo frowned and pretended to die every month. But Bai Yueran's disapproving smile at the side. No big deal. Those quacks all said I wouldn't live past 20. But now I'm fine. Now Qin Mo understood. Why do you like exciting things? Suddenly Qin Mo looked at Bai Yueran and said, Don't worry, I've got your condition under control. I'm sure we'll find a cure someday. But in the future, try to minimize contact with this inferior cosmetics. The voice is just falling. Lucy stood up angrily and said nonsense. Ran uses the best beauty products in latte. At this time, Bai Xian explained to Qin Mo that Mr. Qin might not know, latte beauty is one of the top in Huaxia. The characteristic is natural pollution-free. Qin Mo took out a small bottle from his bosom. If you don't believe me, we can compete. Les looked at him coldly. The good impression he had of Qin Mo before disappeared. Then he said angrily, I'll ask Minister Li to bring a makeup artist over. If you lose, get the hell out of here. But don't rush into 100 houses for a while. After seeing Lucy, a group of people quickly bowed. Lucy sneered and said, Let's show this ignorant kid. Every makeup artist takes the lead. Decorate latte products too. Happy face. Pass the test when shows. Latte cosmetics harmful substances less than 0.2, such low parameters. Let latte stand out from the major brands. Lucy proudly looked at Qin Mo. It's your turn. He is very confident in his family's products. Qin Mo only opened the vial, put a drop of water on Yueran's forehead. Bai Yueran suddenly felt a burst of warmth. Every pore is shrinking. Like a newborn baby. Tested by a tester. Harmful substances are displayed as 0. Les dropped his jaw when he learned. Natural and harmless. It also makes your face white and shiny in an instant. It fits everything. Perfect makeup. There's such magic water in this world. If you can cooperate with them, will generate unimaginable power. Just as Qin Mo wanted to leave, Lisi stopped him. Mr. Qin, you don't want to mass-produce such a good product. Our company can give you this platform. Qin Mo smiled and refused. After listening to music, I was anxious. Don't be. Let's just say I'm begging, okay? Come to our platform. I'll give you 70% of the sales profit. Self-Moon naturally ate an apple and patted his father on the shoulder. Did you see that? Now that's a real man. If you're half as good as my master, my mom wouldn't have divorced you. Bai Xian couldn't say anything after hearing this. I'm about to kneel. Qin Mo thought about it and agreed with a bitter smile. Self-cultivation also requires a large amount of capital supply, with 70% profit, which means there's a steady stream of money. Just as Qin Mo left Baijia and headed for school, suddenly a man's voice came from behind. Honey, I want to confess to you. Qin Mo directly fooled me after listening to it. Is it a male fan who got medical debate 2 days ago? But I only heard Fat Tiger recite poems with great expression. Darling, your face is so charming. I'm going to use my thick lip lines on your forehead. With my big hand like a banana fan, run towards the sunset. The Fat Tiger is intoxicated with his own poetry. Qin Wei was stunned when he heard this. Fat Tiger saw Qin Mo stop subconsciously in place. Some people think that the end of Qin dynasty was moved by his poems. Excited as if meeting a confidant, Qin Mo looked at the time. So I decided to help the Fat Tiger, write a poem for him personally. But the Fat Tiger looked disdainful, directly snatched it from Qin Mo's hand. What the hell did you write? You don't understand literature. You don't understand artistic conception. Which department are you in? You must know Qin Mo, right? Qin Mo was stunned. This isn't a love poem for me, is it? Am I gonna tell him or am I not? But at this time, Fat Tiger shouted excitedly. Tell Qin, just say that I, Fat Tiger, will definitely beat me at the school sports meeting. Make him understand. Only a man as strong as me. To have a goddess, Qin Mo thought. This is probably the legendary junior high school boy, then nodded. Said I'd pass it on for you. And ran straight back to the dorm. As soon as I came in, I saw a few people with sad faces. Qin Mo wondered what was wrong with you guys. This busy guy doesn't read his messages? The school sports meeting is about to start. The homeroom teacher threatened to force us to take first place. The key is that Li Kai comes back. We'll only be abused, Li Kai. Qin Mo was stunned. Is it the Fat Tiger who just recited poetry to me? Qiandi said seriously at the end of Qin dynasty. You're going down. Li Kai was originally a star student in the sports department, and a national first-class athlete. But because of Qinhuan, he transferred to the literature department. But when I came back, I heard that Chinwan has been very close to you recently. I know. You've also reported 5,000 and 10,000 meters. He threatened to fuck you at the school games. Early the next morning, school games officially begin. Qian and others placed all their hopes on Qin Mo. At this time, the yellow hair behind him looked disdainful. Li Kai is always number one. They expect Qin Mo to win. Just then, Mother Su came over with milk balls in her arms. He insisted on following us here today. I brought him here. Well, I'll cheer you on today. The arrival of Su Ma aroused the jealousy of all the male classmates, especially the yellow hair and the others, whose faces are green with jealousy. With the official start of the school games, Li Kai is a star athlete, responsible for student representative speech. First, there was a babble. Li Kai suddenly stood up and shouted, "Today on such a grand occasion, I want to express myself to my beloved goddess Chinwan." Chinwan's face turned pale after listening to it. I can't wait to find a crack in the ground and get in. But the atmosphere in the school was ignited by Li Kai. Everyone was in an uproar. Only Li Kai on the stand said affectionately, "Your face is so charming. I wish I could kiss your face with my thick lips." And it made the audience laugh. What kind of poetry is that? It's okay. I have a backup. You mustn't let anyone see you as a joke. As he spoke, he took out the poem written for him last night at the end of Qin Dynasty, and then read it out loud. It's called Lonely Autumn's Clear Sorrow. If someone asks me about my troubles, I dare not say your name. Li Kai's expression is full of recitation. The girl in the audience instantly turned into a little fangirl. Even Chinwan's heart was pounding. She doesn't like Li Kai. She couldn't believe it was really Li Kai. After Li Kai's emotional reading, he was already intoxicated. Can't help but glance at the last line. Following the book, Qin Mo signed the name. Everyone below the stage was stunned. What the hell is Qin Mo? Qin Mo was expressing himself to Chinwan. After a moment of silence, the whole playground exploded. But Su Yan clenched her fists. I'm glad I had the courage to cheer him on, and brought him the little titties. Qin Mo, you bastard! Chinwan looked at Qin Mo in the distance. I couldn't help but blush. Only Qian Di looked impressed. Fourth brother, you can do it. Let your rival read you a love poem. At this time, Li Kai's face on the podium was green. Holding the microphone, he said loudly to Qin Mo, I planned this so carefully that I ended up suing for you. What do you write down? I declare war on you. The first is 5 kilometers. Li Kai gritted her teeth and looked at Qin Mo's trash. Watch this. If I don't beat you 3 times today, I'm gonna kneel and eat shit. Qin Mo asked curiously. Do you like to eat shit? Li Kai's lungs are about to explode after listening to this. I'll eat a hammer. I said I lost and ate as the starting gun sounded. Everyone thinks the first is Li Kai, but at that moment, Qin Mo rushed out of the crowd at the speed of a 100-meter dash. In the blink of an eye, he distanced himself from everyone. Li Kai smiled. How can there be a long run? Speed up at the beginning. He's a chicken. Even the coach of the national team on the podium. They all think that Qin will not last for 10 seconds, must be exhausted. 2 minutes passed. Qin Mo still has no intention of slowing down, and maintain a tremendous speed. Coach Sun in the stands was shocked. Just now, I gave you some pointers, like a slap. He slapped himself in the face. Li Kai began to doubt life at this time. Is this guy still human? Donkey reincarnated? But he's running like crazy. It doesn't change the fact that the end of Qin Dynasty is approaching. Finally Qin Wei realized the ring to Li Kai. When I passed Li Kai, I didn't forget to pat Li Kai's forehead. Looking at Qin Mo running farther and farther away, Li Kai hysterically shouted, Qin Mo, stop! Don't you dare hit me on the head! And the Qin Dynasty is still speeding up, 3 times in a row. And it's also a way to make sure. What Li Kai said to the end of Qin Dynasty, let Li Kai suspect that life is still behind. Next to Qin Mo, there was a puppy running with him all the time. This dog also set Li Kai 3 times in a row. Finally, Qin Mo successfully crossed the finish line, won the first. It's not just sports. It's boiling. The whole school stood up and applauded. Chinwan and Su Yan saw this scene. And I'm happy. Li Kai stopped in place and gasped heavily. On the other hand, Qin Mo ran 5,000 meters like nothing happened. Saw this scene. Li Kai spat out a mouthful of old blood in anger. At this time, the coach of the national team quickly ran over to Qin Mo. I've never seen you run like that before. Join our national team. I'll give you a team. This is a dream that Li Kai has been pursuing for 2 years, but Qin Mo wasn't interested at all. I smiled and said no. Sorry, I have to run the 10,000 meters. Li Kai, who was tied to the stretcher, secretly clenched his fists. Are you still on fire? Just you wait. At the celebration party afterwards, I'm gonna bury you forever. At the celebration party a few days after the school games, everyone is celebrating for the first place at the end of Qin dynasty. Li Kai, who has been recuperating for a few days, looks much better, but after seeing the end of Qin dynasty, he clenched his fists involuntarily. The reason he's here for this celebration. To let Qin Mo know the difference between them. Just then, the door of the KTV was suddenly pushed open. Everyone looked over and was stunned. I saw Chunwan wearing a suspender skirt, and with his beautiful figure. It looks charming in the dim light. See Chunwan, the impatient Li Kai. He stood up excitedly to welcome him, but when he went to hold Chunwan's hand, Chunwan evaded without leaving a trace. Then he went straight to Qin Mo's side. Red-faced and sat down. Li Kai said, everyone wants to celebrate you. That's why I'm here. Chunwan's face turned even redder. Just then, Li Kai suddenly stood up and interrupted the noisy crowd. Everyone quiet down. Today, I'm going to show you. Give my goddess Chunwan a gift. Li Kai took out a drop of water from his pocket. The girl in front of me recognized this cosmetic. A drop of water. This is Latte Makeup's latest cosmetics. The pre-sale price is 500,000. How did you get that? Qin Mo frowned at the box. He warned Li Mei before. It is forbidden to disclose Li Kai before the product is sold. Why is there acceptance? Li Kai, who was praised by everyone, was even more proud. He wanted Qin Mo to know the gap between the rich and the poor, thus giving up Chunwan and Qin Mo. And you're standing there ignoring him. Face the cosmetics sent by Li Kai. Chunwan also refused directly on the grounds of preciousness, but a lot of girls are looking forward to it. To see what a drop of water can do. I can't stand the heckling of my classmates. Chunwan dripped a drop on her face in a dilemma. This makes Chunwan, who was originally beautiful, it's even more beautiful now. Li Kai heard the praise of his classmates. And he's proud of himself. I almost wrote that I am Chunwan's husband on my face. Girls are born to love beauty. Chunwan wanted to accept it very much, but after thinking about it, I pushed the cosmetics aside. Li Kai was a little angry. What do you mean? Would you rather be with a pauper? Then accept my advances? Can such a person give you happiness? Can you afford 500,000 cosmetics? Li Kai pointed at Qin Mo and shouted hysterically. And everyone thinks. Qin Mo and Li Kai's family background cannot be compared. What's the point of running fast? Only Qian Di and the others didn't speak. These guys understand. Qin Mo can afford to drive a Lamborghini. How could he be poor? Qin Mo sat in the corner and said impatiently. If I wanted to give him a drop of water. And don't point your finger at me. Li Kai was stunned. Then he laughed. A truckload. You, Qin Mo, made a direct call. Someone bought a drop of water before they pre-sold it. I need you to explain to me in person. I'm at altitude 304. Oh yeah? Bring me some more boxes. Just when everyone laughed at Qin Mo's boasting. Suddenly the door of KTV was pushed open. Mr. Qin, sorry I'm late. Li Kai's smile disappeared instantly when she saw the visitor. Mom, what are you doing here? Good for you, I said. Why is a drop of water missing from home? Mr. Qin asked me to blame him. So it was you. I'll beat you to death. Take it off right away. She took off her high heels and gave Li Kai a violent beating. Followed closely, busy carrying Li Kai to Qin Mo to apologize. Mr. Qin, I brought you a drop of water. But Li Kai was unhappy when she saw this. How come you can give it to him, and not me? I'm your son. Who knew Li Kai was rewarded with a big pussy pocket? Are you stupid? Mr. Qin is the founder of a drop of water. A word can shut down latte, you know? A classmate who just mocked Qin Mo. They all looked at each other strangely. But Qin felt that these 3 boxes were too few. Li Mei hurriedly said after listening to Mr. Qin, don't worry. We'll send you a truck when it's official. Then he carried Li Kai out of the door and went to Mr. Qin. You guys play first. I'll go back and teach him a lesson. Just then Su Yan suddenly called Qin Mo. A distinguished guest is coming to our house the day after tomorrow. My mom wants you to come over and help cook. Chunwan watched all this from the side. A trace of jealousy rose in my heart. What is the relationship between Qin Mo and Su Yan after the celebration? Qin Mo sent Chunwan home. By the way, I want to explain the misunderstanding of our last date. Chunwan blushed and said, I understand. I know you want. But I want to wait until later. Chin Mo was completely stunned after hearing this. This misunderstanding is big again. At noon the next day, Chin Mo came to the Su residence. Aunt Jiang couldn't help but hug Chin Mo when she saw him. He came back early without saying a word. Home cold pot cold stove. Chin Mo smiled and said it didn't matter. Aunt Jiang, I've eaten. But at this time, Su Di Hall on the side was on the line. Come on. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Today we have a distinguished guest. Chin Mo smiled but didn't say anything. And then went straight to the kitchen and helped. But after, a plate of fruit fell in front of Chin Mo. Kid. How do you wash this fruit? Can't you see a stain this big on it? But Chin Mo glanced at a few people and still didn't speak. Su Di saw this and said directly to the hall, what attitude do you have? I'm sorry if I'm clumsy. Not even an apology? Chin Mo, let me tell you something. You got into Huai University because of our family. Don't give me that face. Looking at Chin Mo's murderous eyes. Su De is even more energetic and dares to stare at me. I'll kill you. Su Yen, who was beside him, couldn't stand it anymore. Dad grabbed Su De's hand. Stop talking. I helped Chin Mo. But Su De pulled his daughter out of the kitchen. Did you enter this place? You'll have to meet Uncle Bai's son. Don't get your clothes dirty. Let him talk today. He pointed at the end of Qin dynasty. Chin Mo sighed heavily. I haven't been so stupid since I was a child. Think about Aunt Jiang traveling all over China to find herself, and suffered a lot. Chin Mo also endured it. After adjusting the mentality, Chin Mo said to Aunt Jiang, who cared about him behind him, it's okay. I got this. After a while, the doorbell rings. The Su family and Dr. Lu quickly stood up to welcome them. Ziki is impatient. Is the food ready? Yes, I have something to do. Su De listened. Hurrying to the kitchen hall, he said that all the guests had arrived. Hurry up. Su Di Gang wanted to curry favor with Ziki at the dining table, and he just waved it off. Stop it. Stop it. Don't talk about work when you eat. But at this time eyes stared at Su Yen. Said if I could get this girl to follow me? It's not a non-negotiable matter. At this moment, Qin Wei brought the dishes to the table. That seductive fragrance directly stunned my father and son, but also from the dish inside the realization of Confucianism, secrets of Taoist philosophy, just when they couldn't wait to eat. Suddenly froze in his seat, Chin Mo smiled and looked at the two of them. Is it not delicious? My father and son saw the end of Qin dynasty. I was shocked, Mr. Bashin. Why are you here? Su De and the others had already been stunned by this. Mr. Qin. I always call him Mr. Qin. Chin Mo smiled and looked at his father and son. I was asked to cook for you too. After listening to his father and son, his legs were soft with fear. Ziki smiled bitterly. Mr. Qin, I should have known you did it. We dare not eat here. Chin Mo smiled and greeted the two to sit down, but I was speechless. If you know it's these two, you don't have to do it. Qin Mu is not angry. Only then did the two dare to sit down shakily. At this time, Ziki looked at Su De, carefully asked Mr. Qin. What's his relationship with Su De? Su De's self-evident words are obvious. He wanted to act according to Qin Mo's expression. Then she looked at Qin Mo pleadingly. It's long gone. It's all gone. Qin Mo calmly said that he had nothing to do with me. White Chess Wen Yen immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, Qin's words changed. But Aunt Jiang and I are close. Do you understand yourself? White's relaxed expression immediately hit the spot again. After thinking for a moment, he suddenly hit the table and made up his mind. Su De, for Mr. Qin's sake. I'll help you this time. Su De and Jiang Yi quickly thanked him after hearing this. Ziki shook her head to thank him. Just thank Mr. Qin. Su De's expression is like eating shit. But he had to listen to Ziki. He slowly bent down to thank Mr. Qin. Chin Mo glanced at him lightly. I'm helping Aunt Jiang. I wouldn't care if it was you. As for Dr. Lao, who was just arrogant. He had already told Chin Mo that he was happy. After Chin Mo finished eating, he got up and walked out of the Su residence. Ziki ran over panting. Mr. Qin, wait. Something big is happening in Dragon City. A lot of people are dying. A very serious skin disease. But we don't have any medicine in Dragon City. People rush to the medicine market next door for treatment. This has led to a sharp decline in sales of major pharmaceutical companies in Dragon City. Chin Mo wondered why he didn't take medicine from Yaoxing City. Bai Qi shook his head helplessly. The medicine was called Winged Tiger Pill. It's made by the Yao family, after they learned about Dragon City. He wants to take advantage of the opportunity to occupy the market of Long City, to let the general manager, and will give you 50% of the profits of the whole industry. Jin Mo was a little angry when he heard this. So many innocent lives waiting to be saved. They're taking advantage of the situation and raising prices. It's shameless. Mr. Jin, if you have time, go and see President Bai. He hasn't rested for days. Bai Chi didn't expect Jin Mo to help. I just want Jin Mo to take more care of Bai Xian's body. Jin Mo nodded and agreed. Few days later, Old Li officially invited the late Qin dynasty to attend the Shushan tea party. As for the end of Qin dynasty, I guessed it early. That is, please refine the winged tiger pill yourself, if you want to refine it successfully. First of all, we have to see what the winged tiger pill looks like. Not long later, a spontaneous teenager walks in with a bodyguard. After seeing this, Old Li quickly smiled and said, "Young Master Yao, you're here. This is Qin Mo from Huai University. You're all very good at medicine. I'm sure we'll get along." Yao Wen arrogantly glanced at Qin Mo. It was ridiculous to concoct a body-strengthening pill that has side effects on the human body. What's there to brag about? Qin Mo smiled and didn't explain. It's impossible to tell him. The little rejuvenation pill is for immortal cultivators, right? Yao Wen snorted coldly when he saw this. You know yourself. I won't argue with you today. And in the negotiations that followed, Yao Wen still insists that there is no 50% profit in Dragon City. Don't talk about it. But at that moment, the medicine article noticed by Yu Ran standing on the side. Greed appeared on his face. Such a beautiful figure. If you could just let me, I'll put in a good word for you with my father. Bai Xian shouted excitedly at the sight of what you said, but Yao Wen still has a fearless attitude. Do I have to repeat myself? Bai Xian was so angry that his whole body trembled. If it wasn't for the people of Dragon City, why would he be here? Then he gritted his teeth and said yes. Then give me 50% profit. Qin Mo frowned as he watched. No comment was made. Just then, a middle-aged woman rushed in with her daughter. Mr. Medicine, please save my daughter. My daughter is dying. Please give her the pill. Yao Wen looked disgusted. And then he kicked the woman. Don't disturb my pleasure. What does it have to do with me? Li Lao and Bai Xian were stunned by this scene. Then Li Lao put down his posture and came to the front of the medicine tattoo. The ceremony was performed, just hoping to save a little girl's life. But Yao Wen didn't care. Bai Xin sighed when he saw this. He knelt directly in front of Yao Wen. Yao Wen saw that he was even more complacent. Haha, he is a master of Chinese medicine. The leader of the medicine world can also bend and stretch. At the end of Qin dynasty, Bai Xian deserved to be moved. The leader of Dragon City medicine. At this time, Yao Wen slowly took out the winged tiger pill. Fine. I'll let you have it. Yao Wen grabbed the pill in his hand and handed it to the man with the sores, a middle-aged woman with hope in her eyes. And then the next minute, you're smiling, kid. Learn a few dog barks for brother. Brother will cure you. The little girl paused for a moment, but still obedient, kneeling to the ground, and pray that the medicine can save his mother first. Just when the little girl was about to bark, Qin Mo suddenly appeared and slowly picked up the little girl. Then he grabbed the winged tiger pill from Yao Wen's hand. Do you really think there's nobody in Dragon City? Qin Mojin crushed the winged tiger pill in public. This makes Bai Xian and Li Lao look at it with heartache. Yao Wen laughed loudly at the sight. Now I'm not to blame for their deaths. Qin Mo was still calm. You think your medicine is the only cure? Keep your eyes open. Your Yao family is proud of the winged tiger pill. He's just a second-rate guy. Qin Mo gently stroked the girl's face. Reiki gathers between palms. The girl felt the warmth of her face. That face full of sores. Miraculously recovered. The smile on Yao Wen's face froze in an instant. Old Li and Bai Xian watched all this excitedly. It's exciting to see ancient medicine. But at that moment, Yao Wen revealed an evil smile. So what if you know ancient medicine? Hundreds, thousands of people. How many people can you save with your aura? Without our medicine family's winged tiger pill, they're still dead. Qin Mo turned around and looked at Bai Xian. Just now I took a look at the winged tiger pill. I can do it now. Give him back the contract. Don't sign it. Voice just fell. Bai Xin then smashed the contract heavily into the drug text. Angrily, Yao Wen ordered the bodyguards. Chasing Qin Mo. Qin Mo raised his hand. An invisible blast knocked several people to the ground. Yao Wen and the others saw how powerful Qin Mo was. I wanted to leave. At this time, Qin Wei suddenly blocked the way of several people. I remember Shushan Tea House had a rule. People from outside Dragon City have to walk in here. Get out on your knees. Yao Wen's face turned purple. Grievance is out of shape, but still forced by Qin Wei's pressure to kneel down. At this moment, Qin Emo came to the little girl and said, "Little girl, what else do you have to do to get out of Shushan Tea House?" The little girl was very clever and said, "I want to bark like a big dog." After listening to the medicinal text, my face is almost distorted, but he was stopped by his bodyguards. When she saw Qin Mo's eyes filled with killing intent, kneeling helplessly to school, the dog barked. What does that brother look like? Like Era listening to Qin Mo and the little girl's conversation, Yawen almost fell to the ground. When I left, I didn't forget to secretly swear at the end of Qin dynasty. Just you wait. My family is not finished with you. The head of the Yao family at the bottom of the Yao family house in Yaoxing City, Yao Ning is sitting at the dinner table with 3 or 5 friends, drinking and laughing. At this time, the famous old man said with a dark face, "My Tiger Brothers boxing hall, destroyed by a teenager in Dragon City. That's why he has a vendetta against Dragon City. From today, we are at your disposal." Yao Ning's face was full of pride. Laughed 2 heroes. "Wait for me to annex the Dragon City medicine world. I'll make sure you can walk around Dragon City." Voice did not fall, but I saw Yaowen crying and running in. "Grandpa, you must avenge me." Not only did they tear up the contract, he even let Qin dynasty beat me out of Shushan Tea House. Hearing the news brought back by Yawen, Yao Ning's face was full of disbelief. And when Hu Xiaotian heard the word Qin Mo, and immediately there was a look of fear. Xiao Bufan, who was standing beside him, angrily said, "Yao Jian!" Truth be told, it was Qin Mo who destroyed my junior brother's gym. I didn't expect him to hit your grandson this time. Yao Ning resonates with it after listening, also gnashing his teeth. He also promised that if he could get rid of Qin Mo, he took out half of Dragon City's profits as a reward. Xiao Bufan's eyes showed greed after listening. He nodded immediately and waited for me to enter Dragon City, kill the head of the family of medicine at the end of Qin dynasty. Everything that happened at the end of Qin dynasty is unknown. At this time, Dragon City is under the leadership of Li Lao. Give the sick people pills refined by Qin Mo. And Qin Mo has something to do, and has nothing to do for the time being. Just as old Master Li handed the pill to the patient. Suddenly, a masked man with a sword suddenly came out. Old Li's bodyguard doesn't seem right. Immediately pulled out his baton. But the crowd was no match for him. And the bag with the pills. And then he was robbed and left. The veil fell, revealing Xiao Bufan. Hundreds of patients behind him shouted anxiously, "Give us pills. That's my baby's life-saving medicine." But Xiao Bufan remained indifferent, and called Qin Mo to come. "Otherwise, I'll destroy all the pills today." But hundreds of patients refused to betray the late Qin dynasty. Then they all rushed towards Xiao Bufan. He wanted to take the pill back from him. Xiao Bufan suddenly raised his sword. The sword in his hand drew a full moon. The first few used to rush forward covered their arms. Fall to the ground in pain. At this moment, a voice came from the crowd. "Stop it." Qin Mo looked at Xiao Bufan on the high platform. "I heard you were looking for me." Xiao Bufan was stunned. I didn't expect Qin Mo to be so young. "You're Qin Mo. I'll kill you today." Qin Mo did not get angry when he saw this. Instead, he looked happy. "I didn't expect to meet a swordsman in Dragon City. The sword I've been training for so long has finally come in handy." Dragon Cold Sword. Qin Mo's voice just fell. The sword with Dragon Soul appeared out of thin air. The 2 swords clashed fiercely against each other. Xiao Bufan couldn't help but exclaim. Xiao Bufan is a sword master. Natural Dong Jian. There are 2 kinds of weapons. One is also tempered by practice. The other is made by ancient craftsmen. Born of nature. Called the Sword of Spirituality, and Qin Mo was holding, clearly an extremely rare spiritual sword. Xiao Bufan's eyes are full of greed. "Just kill him, that sword is mine." Then he came to Qin again. But when Qin Mo saw this useless sword, his eyes were filled with disappointment. In Xiao Bufan's incredible eyes, Qin Mo had already used the sword drawing technique to injure him, with a clear sound. The silver sword in Xiao Bufan's hand broke. Fell to the ground. Looking at the broken sword in his hand, Xiao Bufan's body involuntarily trembled. At this moment, Qin Mo's voice rang out. "There's no need to fight. Go away, Xiao Bufan. I think this is an insult to myself at the end of Qin dynasty." Looking at Qin Mo's unsheathed sword, and what I just said to myself. Suddenly angry, he spat out a mouthful of old blood. Bai Xin stared blankly at all of this. He found himself underestimating the late Qin dynasty. Not only is he skilled, even swordsmanship has reached this level. Such a person must not be offended. Then Qiu Bufan dragged his seriously injured body, stumbled to a friend's home in Dragon City to recuperate. Lei Lei opened the door and looked shocked. Brother Qiu. Who hurt you like this? Come inside and recuperate. Qiu Bufan said. What happened? Knowing that there was a spirit sword, Lei Lei's eyes showed greed. I want to meet this Qin Mo. A kid in his 20s doesn't give a shit. Then Qiu Bufan was allowed to recuperate at home, and left the house alone. At this time, Qin Mo is practicing his sword call. Even Qin Mo himself didn't expect it. The cold sword that cut Qiu Bufan broke through the bottleneck. It seems that the breakthrough method of Dragon Frost Sword is to find martial arts people to constantly challenge and devour their weapons. Just then, a group of people in uniform came to the end of Qin dynasty. Is this Mr. Qin? Please call me Xiao Wang. Our president wants to see you. Qin Mo didn't expect that there would be a martial arts association in Huaxia, and this organization agreed. Maybe you could even get some advice from an expert. After saying that, he and Xiao Wang went to the stronghold of the Martial Arts Association together. Not long later, Qin Mo arrived at the stronghold of the Dragon City Martial Arts Association. The moment you walk in the door, everyone's eyes were focused on Qin Mo. Qin Mo felt hostility from everyone's eyes. Then he snorted coldly and said, President, I don't know what you're looking for. Then Lei Lei stood up. I heard Mr. Qin has a spiritual sword. I wonder if we could have a look. Greed in everyone's eyes was seen by Qin Mo. Qin Mo thought to himself that it was for this. Why not? Then he suddenly pointed. The Dragon Frost Sword appeared out of thin air on the table. Everyone could not help but exclaim. Many people's eyes have become greedy. Excellent sword. Sword of spirituality. Among the 5 paths are priceless treasures. If it's auctioned off outside, it's worth billions. Lei Lei excitedly stroked the dragon cold sword. When you want to raise your sword, Lei Lei couldn't pick it up. A group of people curiously looking at it. Is that heavy? At this moment, Qin Mo calmly said that the sword had recognized its owner. Don't waste your energy. Lei Lei looked at Qin Mo with jealousy. Then he said coldly, how can I use him? Qin Mo's eyes suddenly sharpened. The corners of his mouth rose, trying to use him. Unless you kill me. A sudden answer silenced the room. Lei Lei laughed out loud after listening to it, and they were all people from Dragon City. Why fight? Voice 1 turn. Lei Lei suddenly smiled wickedly. Then a battle invitation was sent to the end of Qin dynasty to throw me away. Lei Lei officially challenges you. The end of Qin dynasty is full of worries. Unable to find an opponent to upgrade Dragon Cold Eye, supplements delivered to your door are naturally welcome. At the end of the Qin dynasty, when he took the battle invitation and left, Lei Lei shouted at him. When the time comes, you can't use the sword. Qin Mo stopped and smiled in response. I don't need Dragon Cold to kill you. Voice fell. With a boom. The door of the conference room was blocked by Qin Mo's powerful force, and it was smashed. Under everyone's stunned gaze, Qin Mo slowly left the Martial Arts Association. Qin Mo was fast asleep in the middle of the night. Suddenly a hand slowly reached out to him. Qin Mo suddenly woke up, only to discover that the visitor was his third brother Wang Xiona. Look at Wang Xiona's stammering appearance. Qin Mo smiled bitterly and said, Third brother, just tell me what you need. Wang Xiona took out a thick plate of banknotes, with a slight tremble. About $10,000. Fourth brother, can you still get a drop of water? Didn't I just have a girlfriend? He always wanted Wang Xiona like this. Let Qin Wei have some heartache. The price of a drop of water is 500,000. That's not enough. Qin Mo pushed the money back to third brother. It's free. Take care of sister-in-law in a few days. Just go straight to Lotte's press conference. Few days later, Qin Mo came to the launch site of Lotte Beauty. Not long after, I saw you shall come over with a lost one. Qin Mo was confused about third brother. Why are you alone? Wang Xiona sighed and said. Since our last fight, he ignored me for days. Text him to come. He hasn't returned my messages. Qin Mo patted him on the shoulder and comforted him that he was fine, probably too busy. Let's talk later. Just then, a luxury car stopped in front of them. Only Plateau and a man. He got out of the car in a very intimate manner. Wang Xiona saw this scene as if struck by lightning. But Gao Yuan looked at him and froze. Pretend not to know him. He rushed in front of them like he was crazy. Gao Yuan threw Wang Xiona's hand away in disgust. quickly explained to the new boyfriend. I ignored her, she's always pestering me. What else does Wang Xiona want to explain after listening? Gao Yuan smiled and said, You want to court me? What do you compare me to? He drives a Bentley and gives me tens of thousands of clothes. You're hesitating over $200. Go back to the countryside and marry a fat woman, Qin Mo snorted coldly. You're right. You're better than a fat woman. Good thing I saw you one step ahead. I'll give you a few boxes of water. Third brother lost. Gao Yuan laughed after listening. Don't embarrass yourselves here, you two poor bastards. Get out of here. Dormitory, poor people. Gao Yuan proudly pulled her new boyfriend in. Wang Xiana stood there in a daze. Qin Mo pulled her arm and said, What are you waiting for? Come in with me. Today is a drop of water sales day, Sister Wang, as the total sales of Latte Beauty can be described as high-spirited. After seeing Di Min come in with Gao Yuan, and I'm happy. Di Shaoke looked forward to seeing you, so this is your girlfriend? It's beautiful. If a drop of water is used, then you'd be a fairy. Di Min smiled proudly after listening. I hear it's full. Are my 2 boxes okay? Sister Wang smiled and let the two sit down. Just relax. Have a seat. Just then, an indifferent voice came from afar. Today I'll see who dares to let him sit. Sister Wang was shocked to see Qin Mo standing still. It was Qin Mo who caused him to lose his job at the car dealership. I can't help but come to latte makeup. Qin Mo was stunned to see the Qinghai Tibet plateau. I didn't expect this woman to jump ship. At this time, Sister Wang's stunned expression gradually recovered. He sneered at Di Min, a big client. I will definitely be valued by Latte Beauty. Today Qin Mo's little face is here. It's a good opportunity for revenge. Expect this. He looked at Qin Mo arrogantly. Isn't this the face that Miss Z dumped? You're not buying anything happy today. Wang Xiaona nervously pulled Qin Mo. Except for the fear of trouble. I don't want to trouble Qin Mo anymore. Qin Mo smiled and waved at Wang Xiaona. Even if I leave today, and you can't leave while people laugh. Then he said coldly, if you apologize, there's still a chance to keep working here, or you're still gonna lose your job today. Sister Wang laughed after listening to it. She doesn't believe Qin Mo can have a relationship with latte makeup. 2 poor bums from the countryside. All you do is run after rich people. Nausea, one last chance. Apologize to me and my friends. But unexpectedly, I got Sister Wang's face full of disdain. Di Min, who was next to him, saw the situation and said, Who do you think you are? What can you do if you don't like it? Voice did not fall. An invisible wave of air will send Di Min 2 people flying. Sister Wang couldn't help but roar. What are you guys waiting for? Get rid of these arrogant guys. Let them know how good latte security is. After saying that, several security personnel swarmed towards Qin Mo and Mo. Just then, a voice came from afar. Oh my God. The behavior of the beauty sales director is an eye-opener. Then a woman appeared. To stop this farce. And this beautiful woman has been staring at him since Qin Mo came in. And now you're standing up for yourself? This makes Qin Mo wonder if it's because he's handsome. After a brief interlude, Qin Mo and the others also returned to their seats. With the arrival of Latte President Les, Latte Beauty's new product launch conference also officially started. Welcome to a drop of water launch. This is our new latte product. 0 harmful substances. 1 drop can instantly beautify your face. It can also permanently maintain the skin. Everyone in the audience went crazy when they heard it. Instant beauty. Permanently maintain skin. It's like magic water. Alright, now that I'm done, please welcome a drop of water founder Mr. Qin. Sister Wang and others are still thinking about how to curry favor with Mr. Qin. At this time, Qin Mo slowly stood up, walking to the stands in front of everyone. Dozens of executives from Leshi and Latte bowed in unison. Mr. Qin, the plateau and Di Min below are like a pair of expressions of eating shit. I don't believe this is real. And Qin Mo's words were like a bolt from the blue that hit everyone's ears. Hello everyone, I am the founder of A Drop of Water Qin and look at the 4th brother on the high platform. Wang Xiaonan was also dumbfounded. He thinks 4th brother has something to do with latte, but I didn't think it was the developer of A Drop of Water. And Sister Wang, who was still proud just now, is like a frosted eggplant. He collapsed to the ground. At this time, Qin Mo opened his way again. I'll just say one thing. My product does not sell gold diggers. As soon as I said that, everyone looked at Gao Yuan and the other 2 in the back row. Di Min jumped up angrily. Who do you think you are? Latte is not up to you. At this time, Lissy said faintly at the side, Mr. Chin's words speak for me. This is like a slap in the face of Jimin. And never say another word. Then Chin Mo waved his hand. Security's at work. It's like what just happened. The guards came. He married diminutive, and Gao Yuan directly. Jimin is still struggling at this time. My father is from Dayu Pier. How dare you do this to me? High principals, utter despair. Looking at Wang Xiao and sitting there indifferent. At this time, there was regret in my heart. Yang's people also understand how high Qin's position in latte beauty is. At this time, Qin Enmo walked to Sister Wang and stopped. Then he said lightly as sales. What I fear most is that dogs look down on others. This light sentence is like controlling Sister Wang's life and death. Lucy was instantly angry after listening to it. You don't have to come anymore. A group of security guards directly pulled Sister Wang out. Qin Enmo wanted to leave after explaining everything. Then a sweet voice came from behind Qin Enmo. Wait a minute. Get in my car and we'll talk. Qin Enmo agreed because the woman had just helped him. Once inside the car, Qin Enmo frowned slightly. There's something wrong with this car. The beauty did not notice Qin Mo's expression. Instead, he asked indifferently, You are the late Qin dynasty. Before Qin Enmo could answer, the driver sitting in the front row suddenly said coldly, You're so tough. Qin Enmo smiled slightly. I never said I was strong. The beauty looked at Qin Enmo. There was a hint of disappointment in his eyes and he didn't say anything else. You can leave. These two are retarded, right? He came up here and said some weird things. And let himself down again. The Qin dynasty was speechless about this. When the doors closed, the driver in the front row spoke again. Miss, the bodyguard Wu hired for you is no good, or should I protect you? Grandpa, don't worry. I'm old and weak, and I'm better than a college kid. Look at that skinny kid. You don't have any strength at all. Qin Mohan helplessly touched his forehead. Uncle Fook is right. Just then. Suddenly, there was a noise from the window. Qin Mohan lowered the window. Qin Mo's smiling face suddenly appeared in front of him. Qin Mo threw the bomb in his hand into the window. And 3 small bugs. It's a dangerous thing to put under a car. Be careful in the future. Qin Mohan and Uncle Fu were completely dumbfounded. Qin Mo slowly extended his hand to Qin Mohan's clothes. Qin Mohan blushed. What are you doing? I saw that Qin Mo pulled down the buttons on his clothes. And then he put the button in front of him. X is a monitor. Interesting. After saying that, Qin Wei smiled and left. Uncle Fook's arrogance disappeared completely. Looking at Qin Mo's departing figure, he was completely shocked. All those bombs and bugs in the car. I didn't even notice. Qin Mohan hurriedly got out of the car and stopped Qin Mo from leaving. And sincerely to the end of Qin Dao Huan, I hope Qin Mo can continue to protect himself. Qin Mo said lightly to him. Me think about it. Unexpectedly, Qin Mohan did not play according to the routine. He also said that if Qin Mo did not agree, I can only visit your school 3 times. Qin Mo could only helplessly agree when he heard this. Few days later, Long City Airport tie-in security company led by Zhang Nan personally, all obey the orders of Qin dynasty. Just then, a helicopter slowly descended in front of everyone. A slender woman alighted from the plane. This beauty is Qin Mohan, the leader of Huahai province of Qin family. Qin Mohan stepped off the plane coldly. A group of bodyguards hurriedly bowed. Only Qin Mo still had his hands in his pockets, looking at him with a smile that, Late Qin, this trade negotiation, a lot of killers were assigned to the house. My safety is in your hands. At this time, Qin Mohan's cousin said sarcastically. Sister, you're not really letting a college student keep you safe, are you? Qin Chu had a muscular foreign man beside him. 1.9 meters tall, tiger's back. He looked at Qin Mo and his bodyguards intently. Zhang Nan and others were shocked to see men. It's Soria. SEAL X Special Forces. Too awesome. I can't believe you invited him. Soria looked at Qin Mo's thin body and could not help but laugh. You're their leader. I'm here. You're not doing anything. You can scram now. Qin Mo chuckled. When will it be the turn of outsiders to make trouble in China's territory? Soria froze. I didn't expect Qin Wei to speak foreign languages so fluently, but he did not put Qin Mo in his eyes. Let it be a driver directly. On the way, Soria talked about his experiences with SEALs. Qin Chu praised her. Finally Soria shook his head and made up his mind. Chinese bodyguards are no good. Qin Mo drove the car and listened to the two of them brag. Did not say anything, as the car drove out of town, passing a path in the suburbs. Qin Mo frowned fiercely. His eyes could not help but sharpen. In the next second, There was a loud bang. The trees on both sides collapsed. Fortunately, Chin Mo quickly stopped the car. The people in the car were frightened by the sudden noise. Chin Chu covered his injured head and urethra. How do you drive? Chin Mo said coldly. Someone's coming, voice fell. I heard a few sounds in the woods. A dozen masked men in black slowly approached the car. The moment a big hand touches the window, Chin Chu was like a frightened bird, holding Surya's arm and yelling, "They're coming. You go and kill them," Surya said arrogantly as he got out of the car. Just a few lowlifes who can do Chinese acrobatics. Then he pulled out his gun and pointed it at several people. Freeze, or I'll kill. Before he could finish, a dart directly impaled Surya between the eyebrows. The expression of horror on his face froze like this. He fell flat on the ground. Chin Chu widened his eyes in horror. Fear has eaten away at me. The door was opened by the man in black. Chin Chu was dragged down amid the shouting. Although Chin Mohan has no expression, but his body trembled slightly. He couldn't help but look at Chin Mo beside him. I saw Chin Mo playing with his mobile phone leisurely and calm. Just when the man in black wanted to pull Chin Mohan out of the car, Chin Mo next to this will install the phone, said coldly. Leave it. The leader of the black man saw this. A dart directly hit Chin Mo. Just as darts approached the end of Qin dynasty, but I saw Chin Mo's finger gently flick. The flying beacon that came at me actually went back the way it came, stuck in the arm of the leader. Just one move. Everyone knew that the boy in the car was not to be trifled with. After feeling the threat of the end of Qin dynasty, the leader closed the door and dared not disturb Chin Mo again. It's just that Chin Chu is not so good. Dragged into the woods by a group of men in black, I'm about to raise my hand and drop my knife. He could only shout loudly. I hope Chin Mo can save himself. At this time, Chin Mo was quietly playing with his mobile phone in the car. Chin Mohan trembled in fear. I've lost the calmness of a strong woman. Can you help her? Chin Mo only said lightly, my job is to protect you. Seeing Chin Chu killed, Chin Mohan's eyes showed tears. After all, we're related. If anything happens to him, I can't explain myself. Chin Mo looked at Chin Mohan's pitiful appearance. I couldn't help but get out of the car. Then he said indifferently, let him go. The leader finally spoke. We've let Chin Mohan off the hook. Always give an explanation to the employer, am I right? Chin Mo's momentum soared. Spoke again. Let him go. The leader raised his head and said coldly, then we're done. There are so many of us, we may not lose to you. Voice just fell. The darts in the sleeves flew out suddenly. The killers came in an orderly fashion. The dragon cold sword in Chin Mo's hand easily blocked the incoming flying target. Chin Mo sighed. I'm afraid of disobedience. A few cold lights shot out from the sword. Then I heard the killers scream and fall to the ground. The leader's pupils constricted. Eyes were filled with fear. Dragon cold sword. Could this be the one who is in the middle of nowhere? See the dragon cold sword. The leader knelt down trembling. Bean-sized beads of sweat flowed out of his forehead. I don't know if Mr. Please spare us. Chin Mo looked at him suspiciously. This is the first time anyone has recognized his sword. Do these people know Grandpa Long? With these questions, Chin did not kill. Then he shouted. Get out. A dozen killers rolled and disappeared into the woods. At this time, Chin Chu stumbled and crawled to Chin Mo. Thank you, Mr. Chin. Cut the crap. Get in. Not long after, the car stopped in front of the Dragon City Chamber of Commerce building. The president and vice president have been waiting for the Chin family at the door for a long time. This time, the Chin family came to Long City to occupy the clothing industry market in Long City. A Long City Chamber of Commerce has negotiated many times before. Now all you have to do is sign a contract. John Nan and the others arrived early. The Dragon City Chamber of Commerce is being guarded. Vice President Guang Kai looked at Chin Mo behind Chin Mohan and said discontentedly, Miss Chin, you don't trust us. You can't be afraid of danger when you enter our Chamber of Commerce building. Let your bodyguard out. Safe than sorry. But at this time, Chin Mo noticed that this vice president must not have good intentions. His eyes kept drifting out of the window. Expect this. Chin Mo played along. He told Chin Mohan everything. Then he turned around and left. Before leaving, he didn't even pat Guangxai on the shoulder. Wish you success. It's obvious that he's picking on Guangxai. And now Chin Mohan finally realized that this meeting was indeed not simple. The young heavenly master's innate keen sense of smell detected the clue. Qin Mo and Jean Nan came to the roof of the building together. Qin Mo immediately let Jean Nan take a gun and aim at the empty rooftop opposite. The man on the empty rooftop wondered. No one. Qin Mo smiled faintly. You know why you're not a good bodyguard? Then he pointed to the opposite roof and said again, based on today's wind speed and the distance between the two buildings, the perfect place for a sniper to kill is right there. Following Qin Mo's order, the warrior pulled the trigger. At the same time, in the conference room, Qin Mohan frowned. Let my Qin family quit Dragon City, Mr. Kwang Choi. What do you mean? Guang Kai took out the contract that had been prepared. He threw it in front of Qin Mohan and said coldly, no point. Please sign it, Miss Qin. Looking at the contract, the Qin family's trading company will never enter Dragon City. Qin Mohan slammed the table angrily. That's impossible. Guang Kai finally bared his fangs and smiled viciously. You can't say no now. I've got snipers on the roof across the street. As long as you sign it, I'll let the killer go. But as a pianist at the helm, how can we destroy the future of the Qin family because of a moment of fear? Then he rejected Guan Cai's conditions. Guang Kai was furious, finger pointing in the air. Go to hell. Qin Mohan closed her eyes in despair. At the last minute, it occurred to me. If Qin Mo had stayed with us, maybe this would not have happened, but it's too late for that. But as time went by, and I didn't hear anything, Guan Cai gradually froze in place, and then hysterically shouted, shoot him, bastard. Didn't you see the signal? Just then, the door to the conference room was opened. Qin Mo threw the killer directly onto the table. Stop shouting. See if it's what you're looking for. This moment, Guang Kai's face was full of fear. Qin Mo picked up his sniper rifle. The muzzle was stuffed directly into Guang Kai's mouth. Said, who put you up to this? Guang Kai was scared out of his wits, crying and saying, Shimajia. Qin Mohan's eyes turned cold. But they are. Longsher Maojia is a clothing big head that has emerged in recent years, occupy 80% of the market in Dragon City, so the Qin family has always been a thorn in the Mao family's side. After we get rid of Guan Cai, the contract between the Qin family and the Chamber of Commerce was also signed. Then Qin Mo drove Qin Mohan to the hotel where he stayed. Just when Qin Mo finished his mission and wanted to leave, Mohan blushed and asked Qin Mo if he could stay with him. At this time, the head of the Longsher Mao family, Mao Wei, smiled and drank red wine, waiting for good news from the front. Just then, Guan Cai stumbled in. President Mao is not well. All our assassination attempts failed. Guan Cai lay on the ground and told everything. Mao Wei's expression gradually became solemn after listening. Finally, he smashed the glass on the ground angrily. What, the world's top killer? Can't even handle a bodyguard. Qin Mo, right? How dare you ruin my Mao family's good work? You don't want to live, do you? And that's when a mystery man descended. He advised Mao Wei not to provoke Qin Mo, because Qin Mo has a sword in his hand. Dragon Cold Sword appeared today. If you mess with it, it's gonna get you killed. Mao Wei was slightly stunned, didn't understand what the man in black meant. The man in black said nothing more, slowly walked out of Mao's house, suddenly stopped when passing Guan Cai. A dart shot from his sleeve. It pierced Guan Cai's head in an instant. Don't keep the losers. The next morning, Qin Mo left the hotel early. The Battle of Dayu Pier is imminent. Qin Mo wants to break through to the Foundation establishment Mahayana stage before. He came to the open space of the park and sat cross-legged. Waves of blue air waves emerged from Qin Mo's body. The spiritual energy was like waves that repeatedly attacked the barriers of the realm. Not long after, Qin Mo slowly opened his eyes. A new power filled his whole body. Foundation establishment Mahayana is finally about to break through. At this moment, a sinister dagger suddenly appeared. A man stabbed Qin Mo with a dagger. He even shouted, "Long live Lei Jianshi." Fortunately, Qin Mo reacted quickly. One palm blows the thief away. Although he dodged a fatal attack, but the knife still left a long gash on the arm. Lei Jianshi, the Martial Arts Association. Just you wait. Jiziho, Dayu Pier, the place of life and death. Many wealthy merchants of Dragon City have come to admire them. I want to pay my respects to the reputation of the Thunder Sword Master, a mere college student challenging a martial arts swordsman. What a joke. This kind of discussion is full of above Dayu Pier. Just then, a military jeep came up and caught everyone's eye. Zhao Beifeng's arrival made many rich merchants in Dragon City come to pay their respects. Just as everyone was being polite, a line of luxury cars came up in the distance. It was Qin Mohan. Today's business negotiations are also scheduled at Dayu Pier, but Qin Mo hasn't shown up yet as a bodyguard. Qin Mohan frowned. At this time, Dao Ke sneered at Lei Lei on the ferry in the river, and he took away his sword right hand. If you still can't get the Dragon Frost sword, don't say I didn't help you. But as time passed, the challenger still hasn't appeared. This made the audience gradually impatient. Just then, a man in a boat suddenly appeared on the river and floated slowly. And when they saw his face, they all froze. Qin Mo? How could it be Qin Mo? Just then, Qin Mo's figure suddenly jumped several feet. The cruise ship was easily jumped up by Qin Mo. Seeing Qin Mo arrive, Lei Lei smiled smugly and said, Mr. Qin's arm is injured. If you lose, don't blame me for taking advantage of you, or surrender? He handed over the dragon cold sword with both hands. Qin Mo's eyes revealed killing intent when he heard this. Killing you with one hand is enough. A wooden sword appeared on Qin Mo's left hand. When the Martial Arts Association saw this, they laughed at Qin Mo for being arrogant. Lei Lei smiled when he saw this. Take a broken wooden sword. How can you beat me? In an instant, Lei Lei attacked Qin Mo aggressively. However, under the control of Qin Mo's left hand, the peachwood sword competed with ease. He blocked Lei Lei's attack. Lei Lei was shocked. Impossible. I couldn't cut his mahogany sword. The corrupt Lei Lei raised his hand and used his fatal skill, Thunder 10,000. Qin Mo's sword in his left hand turned into several shadows, easily parried all attacks. At this time, there was no longer any sarcasm on everyone's faces. I didn't expect Qin Mo to be able to control swordsmanship with both hands at the same time. This is a power that only a kendo master can reach. There's no second one in Huaihai province. A long time passed. Lei Lei's forehead was sweating. Qin Mo looked disappointed. Is that all you got? He wanted to use this opportunity to improve the quality of the Dragon Frost sword. Dan Lei Lei's strength probably can't bring much improvement to the Cold Dragon sword. Qin Mo didn't want to waste any more time. With a mahogany sword in his hand, the sword pointed at Lei Lei's throat. Faced with Qin Mo's powerful aura, Lei Lei has some cracks. Kneel down and kowtow. Pray for Qin Mo to let him go. You did this, didn't you? At this time Lei Lei has no reason to quibble. I stood up and tried to escape. Qin Mo picked up the Dragon Frost sword and threw it fiercely. The Dragon Cold sword stabbed Lei Lei's right arm like a javelin. He chopped off his entire right arm. The people below the stage now look at Qin Mo as if they have seen a devil. Qin Mo looked down on Lei Lei like an ant. Wanna beat me? Don't use this cheap method. Then he stood on the deck and scanned the crowd. The Dragon Frost sword is here. Who dares to take? Today I, Qin Mo, will accompany you. It was Qin Mo's propaganda to those fake people in the Dragon City Martial Arts Association. Galloping above deck. In an instant, Qin Mo was surrounded. Qin Mo, today I need the Dragon Cold sword. You have to give. Kill him and take the sword. With a cold shout from Doke, several people rushed towards Qin Mo. Qin Mo holds the Dragon Cold sword. Draw several full moons in the sky. Jianghan sword technique. The sudden drop in temperature froze everyone in place. Dragon Cold sword in Qin Mo's hand is like a death scythe. He easily cut the aggressor to the sword. The wounded Doke. In the face of the Dragon Cold sword handed over by Qin Mo, I dare not have any other thoughts, and became famous in the Battle of Qin Mo. From now on, all martial artists in Dragon City are willing to be the leader of Qin Mo. At the following Dayu Pier seafood banquet, it was supposed to be a welcome ceremony for the Qin family to enter Dragon City. Unexpectedly, Qin Mo became the focus of the audience. As the star of this banquet, Qin Mohan must speak on stage. The main purpose of this banquet is to show you the new products of the Qin family. With the curtain lifted, everyone couldn't help but express their appreciation. Just as everyone was admiring the dress, suddenly there was a discordant voice in the crowd. What's there to see? Mao Wei snapped his fingers. Dozens of dresses appeared in front of everyone. The audience is in a dilemma. It means both families like it. Then Mao Wei came to Qin Mo. He smiled and said, Mr. Qin, you're in the limelight today. Why don't you evaluate our clothes? Who's number one? But then he smiled and patted his forehead, a look of remorse. Look at my brain. I forgot Mr. Chin was just a watchdog for the Chin family. What do you know about that? Chin Mo was not angry about this, just say lightly. Your clothes are ordinary. Trying to pick the best out of the trash. Chin's family is stronger than yours. Many dignitaries shook their heads. Chin Mo's remarks offended the two aristocratic families. Mao Wei laughed arrogantly, clutching his stomach. I thought Chin Mo was farting. Even Chin Mohan was a little unhappy. What makes you say that? Chin Mo stroked the dress and said indifferently. Look at you, Chin family. Dozens of dresses are rendered in light ink, as a clothing brand. A home should have only one master designer to lead to no innovation. Chin Mohan looked at Chin Mohan blankly. The more he looked at the boy, the more confused he became. Only the world's top fashion designers can say this evaluation. Mao Wei shouted discontentedly at the side. Chin Mo, tell me about mine. Chin Moda glanced at him and sighed softly. Sucks. Then what? Chin Mo said disdainfully. Gone. Hearing Chin Mo's reply, he was extremely angry, then suddenly pointed at Chin Mo. I'm gonna pull out a dress for you. If you can crush the Chin family, kneel down and say hi. Then he snapped his fingers. A dress that blinded everyone appeared in front of everyone. This self-colored dress has a vivid painting of an ink-stained crane on it. It's like I'm about to pop out of my dress. I have to say, this evening dress is too tempting for everyone. Even if Chin Mohan doesn't want to admit it. But it doesn't change the fact that the crane dress overpowers all the clothes. Chin Mo frowned slightly when he saw the crane dress. This is Mao Wei's proud gaze. Chin Mo, I don't need to tell you. Can I kneel and apologize? Chin Mo pointed at him coldly. Who gave you confidence? Bring a plagiarized work here to show off. But Mao Wei laughed loudly. Do you know who made this dress? And then clap your hands and shout, please welcome Mr. Smith, designer of the crane dress. Smith's appearance instantly became the focus of the scene. Smith's arrival was seen. The eyes that looked at Chin Mo revealed disgust. But when Smith saw Chin Mo, he was stunned. 3 steps and 2 steps came to Chin Mo and immediately bent down. Teacher Chin, I didn't expect to see you again. I spent almost 2 months in Dragon City trying to get your advice. People saw this and their mouths dropped open. I didn't want to press the dress. But someone wants to settle this account. I asked you if you copied it? Smith said shakily. There was an uproar on the spot. Mao Wei was also stunned. Smith's words undoubtedly gave him a hard slap. Smith stood up and explained to the crowd. This crane dress was originally made by Mr. Chin. I can only imitate 60% of it. Chin Mo slowly walked to Mao Wei's side and smiled. Did you just ask me to kneel? Smith was furious when he heard Chin Mo's words. How dare you make Mr. Chin kneel? Mo, my contract with you is terminated. Mao Wei froze in place. He didn't mean for it to be this bad. He underestimated Chin Mo's position in Smith's heart. Since you left the Mao family, you can try the Chin family. Smith heard Chin Mo's words. He came to Chin Mohan like he was injected with chicken blood. Miss Chin, can I join the Chin family design team? After the banquet, Chin Mo came directly to Baijia, but I learned from Bai Yuran. Not long ago, the drug dealer cut off the medicine in Longshire, and the people are willing to work with him. He actually betrothed Bai Yuran to Yao Wen. At this moment, Baiha Pharmaceutical Conference Hall, Yao Ning smiled proudly. My marriage with Baijia, the Yao family is also half a Longshire people. The herbs will naturally continue to be provided to you. Bai Xian looked at the contract and said hoarsely, I can agree to your terms. Yao Wen, I just want you to be kind to my baby girl. Otherwise, I'd kill myself to think about it. The drug surface promised, but in my heart I laughed coldly. Your precious daughter is nothing but a plaything in my hands. Then Bai Xian trembled and picked up the pen and signed his name. But at this moment Yao Ning said, I heard there's a guy named Chin Mo in Dragon City who wants my son to kneel. Bad things for my family. I wonder if you could hand him over. The crowd could not help but freeze in place when they heard this, saying it's impossible. Seeing that everyone still dares to defend Chin Mo, Yao Ning angrily slammed the table and shouted, Hand over Chin Mo, otherwise I'll tear down your stupid place today. But Chin Mo suddenly appeared. He took the contract in his hand and looked at it. Yao family has a big appetite. After saying that, Chin Mo directly tore up the contract. Everyone in the conference room was shocked to see this scene. Yao Ning immediately slammed the table and stood up. Chin Mo. From today, I'll take care of the medicine world in Longshire. If you want to annex it, you have to go through me. Isn't there a 5-yearly pharmacist competition in a few days? Dare to compete with me. If I win, you must promise never to learn from Dragon City's medicine world. Yao Ning was very proud after listening to it. Good. If you lose, just slip under my son's crotch. I own all of your shares in Longshire Pharmaceutical. Qin Mo immediately agreed with a smile, and then left. Yao Ning looked at Qin Mo's departing back and could not help but smile wickedly. Qin Mo, you're gonna regret your decision today. The 5-day covenant has arrived. Tomorrow is the day we go to Yaosu City to finish our bet. Qin Mo drove to Baijia early in the morning. Looking at Bai Yueran's exquisite dress like a princess all her life, Qin Mo asked curiously, "You're going too?" Bai Yueran forced out a smile. "Let's go see it with you. I haven't been to Yaoxing yet." But at this time Bai Xin could not help but sigh and tell the truth. "Sir, if you fail." The first one to be insulted was Yuran, Apothecary Day. It could also be the moment when the Yao family announces the engagement. "Mr. Qin, I'm counting on you." Bai Xian bowed heavily towards Qin Mo. Watching Qin Mo leave with his daughter, Bai Xin's heart is also helpless. 100 months passed without a word. Silence is like a lamb. Qin Mo suddenly said indifferently, "Yuran, you don't have to do this alone. Leave everything to me." Bai Yuran Yijing. I couldn't help but look at Qin Mo's profile. That self-confidence and determination made Bai Yuran feel at ease. The cold face for a long time also revealed a long-lost smile at this moment. Not long after, the two of them arrived in front of the Yao family's gate, in a grand, quaint building, and each statues of ancient great doctors. Yaowen saw the arrival of Qin Mo and Mo. He said extremely loudly, "All right, you can go now. This city is my territory." "Who are you, Qin Mo?" Bai Yuran frowned when she heard this. "Qin Machu arrived here, unfamiliar with the place. Is this how you treat people?" Yaowen sneered. "I'm in charge here. My pharmacy is full. The kennel does have a place to live. I wonder if Mr. Qin would like to live in a kennel." The servants of the Yao family all burst out laughing. Bai Yuran trembled with anger when she heard Yaowen's humiliation of Qin Mo. If Qin Mo wasn't allowed to stay in the Yao family, Yaowen has no fear of Bai Yuran's prestige. Then he said leisurely, "Think it over. Your father's life and death are in our family's hands." Qin Mo waved his hand lightly. "I leave." Yaowen saw this and raised a victorious smile. As long as Qin Mo can eat it, Yaowen's heart is comfortable. Qin Mo was about to get into the car when he suddenly stopped. He looked at her coldly. "If Bai Yuran makes a mistake in the Yao family, I'll destroy your family." Qin Mo's words scared Yaowen into a cold sweat. He knew Qin Mo wasn't just a pharmacist. He is also a martial artist. Lamborghini left. Yaowen clenched his fists tightly as he looked at the departing car shadow. "What do you have to be arrogant about? On the day of the apothecary competition, I told you to kneel down and ask Dad to leave the Yao family." Qin Mo parked his car in an underground garage in a busy area, new to Yaoxing. Qin Mo wanted to find a hotel. You can see all the medicine shops. At this time, a quarrel in an alley attracted Qin Mo. "Please let me go." However, the leader of the men in black sneered. "Young master said, as long as you stay in Yaosu, I can't let you live." Crowd swarm. "Start working on the cold core." Just then, Ling Xian noticed Qin Mo hiding in the corner and eating melons, and then he shouted, "Strong men." Everyone was shocked when they heard this. Ling Xian also took the opportunity to hug Qin Mo's thigh and wanted to seek help. A few people saw this and shouted angrily, "Fuck off, Yao Jiax, mind your own." Qin Mo smiled. "I, Qin Mo, have no choice but to meddle in the Yao family's affairs." Qin Mo's words were like thunder in everyone's hearts. The leader was scared shitless. "And lead them on their way out of here." Qin Mo took off his coat. Wrapped around Ling Xian's thin body, he immediately asked, "Where is your home? Do you want me to drive you?" Before he could finish, I saw Ling Xian leave in a panic. A woman's heart is like a needle under the sea, but at that moment, Qin Mo sensed something. He touched his pocket and realized that his wallet had been stolen. At this time, in the slums of Yaoxing City, Ling Xian took out Qin Mo's wallet and said, "Uncle Fu, put it down. With this money, I will definitely cure you." Uncle Fu trembled and covered Ling Xian's hand. "Miss, your sister is?" "Miss stole from me. I blame myself." Ling Xian shook her head desperately, and tears flowed down her face. "I don't care. I'm going to hire the best pharmacist for you. Just then the door opened. Ling Xian was shocked to see Qin Mo arrive. How did you find it? Qin Mo was stunned and smiled bitterly. You took my wallet. Shouldn't I get it back? Uncle Fu, who was on the bed, quickly got up and coughed. Sorry. It's my fault. Please don't blame the lady. Miss, it's for. At this moment, Qin Mo interrupted Uncle Fu's words. I'm just curious. What made the drug market so hot in those days? To this extent. Miss Ling. Ling Xian froze in place when she heard this. When the veil comes down. And then a very ugly face was revealed. As Qin Mo mentioned, the sealed memories are opened again. 2 years ago, Yao Jia unexpectedly proposed marriage to Ling Jia. He also became Yao Wen's fiancé. Just when people thought the two families were getting back together, building a future together. The night before the wedding, a fire broke out in Ling's house. Ling Xian's father died in the fire to save Ling Xian. But even if Ling Xian is saved, he also had permanent scars on his face. We all know the cause of the fire. But no one dared. People will only remember the strength of the Yao family, but forget the filth of the medicine house. For the past 2 years, Ling Xian and the old housekeeper have lived together. Uncle Fu was seriously ill, so he stole Qin Mo's wallet. Qin Mo was a little moved after listening. This Yao family is indeed not a good thing. If Yuran really marries into the medicine family, I'm afraid I'll have the same experience as the Ling family. After thinking about it, Qin Mo decided to help Ling Xian. I can cure you of Uncle Fu's illness. But Ling Xian didn't think Qin Mo had this ability. I just hope you can lend me the money for the pharmacist. If you're willing to help me, I'd give anything. Qin Mo suddenly felt a blow in his heart, but he reluctantly agreed. Soon a luxury car appeared in the slum. Bien Yaosher, why would you come to a place like this? Bien, he sighed. Mr. Ling treated me well. The Yao family doesn't want me to take care of this, but since Ling Xian can afford it, I'll just help them out. Cold Corsi's flat crane hind bend over excitedly hurriedly to come. Greetings, Senior Bien. Bien, he is the top pharmacist in Yaoxing City. He is also one of the few people in the Yao family who can reach the level of an alchemist master. Si Qin Mo do not bow. Assistant Lan was furious. You can't pray when you see old Bien. Si Qin Mo says he doesn't know him. Bien, he glanced at Qin Mo. He's seen a lot of cocky shrimp like that. When he came to the house, Bien, he felt Fu Bo's pulse and said awkwardly, cardiac congestion. Need to take Tongxue Dan. I'm not sure I can master this pill. Ling Xian immediately knelt on the ground when she heard this. Senior Bien He. Please try. Looking at Ling Xian acting like this, Bien He nodded and agreed. Then put the herbs into the pill furnace. When the flames start, Bien He pretended to control it. Qin Mo looked on from the side and sneered. He knew Bien He couldn't refine the blood circulation pill. Sure enough. Half an hour later, black dregs appear in the furnace. Clearly a failure. Bien He shook his head helplessly. No, still failed. I can't cure. Ling Xian froze for a long time. At this time, the male assistant impatiently pushed the cold core. Why are you crying? Get the money! Don't even think about it. Suddenly Qin Mo's voice sounded from the side. How shameless! You're asking for money when you've got shit. Bien, he shouted. You're the first one to call my training shit. You can do it. Qin Mo smiled faintly and walked to the side of the pill furnace. Saw clearly? I'm only gonna practice once. Don't practice a piece of shit and still be proud of it. Half an hour later, Bien He's pupils are wide open. This youth will be able to control fire at the highest level. Even a master alchemist like me can only control the fire. Beijing fire control alchemy has long been lost in ancient times. I didn't know anyone could do it. Suddenly Qin Moi hit the pill furnace with his palm. With a boom, the furnace exploded instantly. Open the furnace with your palm. Bien He stared blankly at him. I've been concocting pills for decades, and I've seen countless things. Today, I know what it means to have someone outside the mountain. Qin Mo picked up an emerald pill from the furnace. Ling Xian hesitated and did not dare to accept it. Bien He's words dispelled his worries. Premium blood activating pill, alchemy grandmaster. Ling Xian immediately gave the pill to Uncle Fu to eat. After the old butler took the pill, after a while, his face gradually turned red. At this time, Bien He hurried to apologize. And you want to be Qin Mo's disciple? Qin Mo pointed to the embroidery on his collar. But you are a member of the family. Bien He immediately tore down the Yao family's logo. To tell you the truth, I've been wanting to tear this thing up for a long time. Chin Mo saw Bien He like this. After thinking for a moment, he agreed. Just in time to solve his own drug shortage. May I know your name? Chin Mo. These two words are like a bomb. They are shocked and their mouths are wide open. You're Chin Mo, the one who's going to take part in the apothecary competition. Master doesn't know who my advisor is, Chin Mo said lightly. I can only tell you his surname is Luo. No comment. Bien He cried out. Could it be the Luo family? Ancient medical family Luo family. Chin Mo looked confused. Chin Mo doesn't know what the Luo family has to do with Grandma Luo. Bien He was glad to know all this. The Luo family is the inheritor of the ancient Chinese medicine world, a true family of medicine. Compared to the Yao family and Luo family, that's a world of difference. The next morning. Today is the 5-yearly apothecary competition. The square of Yaoxing City is already crowded. Yao Ning looked at the crowd below, and was extremely excited. It's not just the apothecary competition, it will also be the beginning of the Yao family's annexation of the Dragon City medicine world. It's impossible for Chin Mo to defeat his son. Yao Ning has written all the congratulatory messages. Just wait for Chin Mo to lose and read it out on the spot. He looked at the top pharmacists of the Yao family behind him. Yao Ning frowned. Why isn't old Bien here? Tino, old Bien went out early this morning. Yao Ning shook his head unhappily after listening. Such an important occasion. We just need a master like Bien Lao to be our leader. I can't believe he's not here. With the appearance of the medicine text and the attendant medicine boy, tsunami-like cheers erupted all around. Everyone was stunned when they saw this medicine boy, because the boy is also a top pharmacist. It's called Yao Su. See Yao Wen and think about Chin Mo. The onlookers thought it was funny. What did Chin Mo compare with Yao Gongzi? I think the young master's druggist is better than him. Just as everyone laughed. A black luxury car stopped in front of everyone. Master Bien has come to defend us, the best in medicine. Bien He got out of the car. He ignored the excited voices of the crowd, but running to the back of the car, opened the back door of the car. Everyone was shocked by this scene. Old Bien opens the door for people himself. What circumstances? Even Yao Ning on the high platform proved it. When does Bien He need to open the door for others? What's this? The big shot's here. Just as everyone was shocked, a teenager smiled and got out of the car. The youth was Chin Mo. Yao Wen's pupils suddenly contracted, shocked, mouth agape speechless. Your facial expression will be richer. Yaoxing City's medicine world leader unexpectedly became Chin Mo's medicine boy. Bien He followed Chin Mo and slowly walked up the platform. At this time, he was questioned by Yao Ning. Bien Lao, what do you mean? Old Bien's eyes narrowed as he said coldly, from today, I, Bien He, am Mr. Chin's disciple. I'll have nothing to do with your family. I'm here today to be Mr. Chin's medicine boy. For Chin Mo's sake, he actually left the Yao family. Yao Ning felt incredible after listening. Also shocked are the Baixing father and daughter who are watching from the side. How about with old Bien in charge? Yao Wen pointed unconvinced to the end of Qin dynasty. Even if you had a good druggist, you're not gonna make it to the finals. Pharmacist competition is divided into preliminary and final. Preliminary 100. Besides, even the judges are from the Yao family. That's why Yao Wen dared to boast. At the referee's command, the contestants are getting busy. And then put the herbs in. Alchemy. Most of the people's eyes were focused on Yao Wen. Young Master Yao is going to refine the Golden Creation Pill. The Golden Creation Pill is extremely complicated to refine. You're a great doctor. What a gift. On the other hand, Chin Mo, Bien He opened the container containing the medicinal herbs, but I found it was full of decaying herbs. It's obviously the Yao family and his son. Bien He hurriedly informed Chin Mo of this discovery. Chin Mo still looked like he had victory in his hands. Pour it in. Chin Mo's pill furnace suddenly ignited. Quickly put in the same medicinal herbs as the medicinal text. The crowd laughed at this. It's like Chin Mo is a clown now. The pills copied from the medicine text can only be suppressed by the medicine text in the end, as the race goes on like fire. The prescribed time for one child incense will soon be up. Just then, Yao Wen's fingers suddenly clamped against the pill furnace. The core formation. Everyone's eyes looked at Yao Wen in unison. A brown pill appeared in Yao Wen's hand. When people saw this pill, their expressions froze. At the age of 20, he has developed a middle-grade golden creation pill. Too powerful. He deserves to be the first person in Yaoxing City. Even Yao Ning's family head didn't refine a middle-grade pill when he participated in the medicine master competition. Everyone's praise made Yao Ning laugh until his mouth cracked open. At this time, Yao Wen looked at the judges. A faint smile was raised. Judges, we can announce first place, many judges said with a charming face. What you said is very true. We'll just... Suddenly a cold voice rang out. It's too early to tell. People were stunned. Then they all laughed. How dare a plagiarist shout in front of young Master Yao? You can't even refine a low-grade golden creation pill, can you? Medicine is enjoying this moment. And he said in a condescending manner. Qin Mo, you can't afford to lose? Qin Mo sneered. Suddenly he slapped his palm on the pill furnace. The pill furnace exploded instantly. People panicked and fled. Everyone was drawn to the explosion. I saw a thick smoke rising from Qin Mo's desk and covering everything. As the smoke cleared, Qin Mo slowly opened back. I've never seen you as an opponent. How can you lose? A golden pill appeared in Qin Mo's hand. His eyes widened. It's a top-quality golden creation pill. Keep shaking your head. Like crazy. That's impossible. Qin Mo, with his own strength, made a drug market. He even pressed the so-called prodigy of the Yao family to the ground and rubbed it fiercely.